Hi, and welcome to the little apartment on the prairie. Today I'm baking an apple crisp, and I decided I would use the peels and cores from the apples to make apple cider vinegar, and I thought I'd just show you how real quick because it's super easy. And it's a really good way to use all those peels and cores. So I have a half-gallon jar, but you could use a quart jar instead. And I've got it filled about 2/3 of the way full. This isn't real precise, with apple cores and peels. These happen to be Red Delicious apples. That's just because that's what I had on hand. I got a bunch from the food pantry. You could use any apples that you have, or you could use a mixture of different apples. If you peel apples sometimes for your kids and you don't usually have enough to fill up a jar 2/3 of the way full or 3/4 of the way full at one time, that's okay. You see Sassy back there getting in my sink and poking around. So, always she is. That's bread rising back there under that cloth that she's looking at. That orangish, yeah. Okay, so anyway, what you can do is put a jar or a container or a Ziploc bag in your freezer. Toss the apple pieces in there. Sassy! Did you just like stuff in my bread dough? Crap, she did. Man. Sassafras. Okay. Anyway, you can just toss your apple pieces in a bag or a jar in your freezer until you get enough to make vinegar with. You don't have to have it all at once. So, I'm gonna use about a cup of sugar, white sugar. If you're making a quart instead of a half-gallon, then of course you would use half a cup. And I don't know, this might be slightly less than half a cup, but whatever. I'm gonna pour it in on top of the apples. There you go, sugar on the apples. Then I'm gonna fill this up with water. Up to, about the top, my sink is full. Can't get my jar under there. Doesn't have to be hot water, doesn't have to be cold water, just regular, like room temperature kind of water. I'm gonna use my little hose thing since I can't get this jar down in my sink because I was washing dishes and I'm gonna have more dishes. Okay. So that filled up to a couple inches, an inch or two from the top. And I'm going to kind of swirl it around a little bit. Actually, I'm going to use the handle of the spoon to get down in there and stir it. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. And to show you what I have. I have these things called fermentation weights, which are little glass things that fit in the mouth of your jars. And the purpose is to hold the, like the apple peels down below the water. If you don't have those, you can, I used to use a small jar, like a, like the size of a jar, a 4-ounce jar, and it would fit inside the mouth of the jar and work. You could even just fill up a baggie with like marbles or dried beans and stick it in there. The point is you want your apple slices to all be under the water. If they're over the water, what's over the water can mold. So then you want to put a covering over the jar, and I'm just using a square of calico. You could use cheesecloth, you could use a paper towel, you could use a coffee filter. You want it to be something that it can breathe through. You want it there to air can get in and out, but you don't want dust or bugs or a kitten or anything like that to get in. So I'm going to just use one of the bands like I'm putting the lid on the mason jar, but if you don't have a ring that fits your jar, you can just use a rubber band or tie a piece of string. And now this doesn't want to go on. There we go. So you want to put it in a dark place, like in a cupboard. Every 2 or 3 days, you want to stir it, and you're going to do that for about a month. So I'm going to make a note on my calendar so I know when it's done. You could put a note on your fridge. You could use a little Post-it sticky note and stick it on the jar so you know when it's done. But after about a month, you're going to strain out the apples, and the liquid that's left is your apple cider vinegar. It really is that easy to make your own vinegar. And you can make it with peach peels or other fruits as well. Let me know if you try it and how yours turns out. Thanks, and have a good day.